is Ann Clements. I'm Associate Professor of Music Education at the Pennsylvania State University. This presentation is on the purpose of a musical education. According to the National Association for Music Education, music allows us to celebrate and preserve our cultural heritages, and also to explore the realms of expression, imagination, and creation, resulting in new knowledge. This has come to life in primarily two ways within K-12 teaching. We are creating performers and appreciators. Music performers are those who have the skills needed to make music independently and in ensemble settings. Music appreciators are those who have the skills needed to be knowledgeable listeners, consumers, and advocates of music. Paul Lehman, former president of the National Association for Music Education, stated it very plainly. He said, "As I see it, education is what we have left over after we've forgotten the things we've learned in school. And the purpose of education, in my view, is the pursuit of truth and beauty, the development of human capacities, and the improvement of the quality of life." So what does it mean to be musical? What is a musical life? There's a couple of realities that we need to consider as we prepare K-12 children to enter into musical adulthood. The largest portion of music makers in this country are not in professional or community bands, choirs, or orchestras. They're in basements, they're in pubs, garages, worship teams, computer labs, or recording studios. And we need to understand that all humans are musical, and perhaps never as in tune with music as during their elementary, middle, and high school years. It's been estimated that only 20% of high school students in the United States are choosing to participate in school music. While this number is somewhat debatable, we have to consider, where are the other students? What are they doing musically? And why are they choosing not to participate in school music? Well, the answers to these questions are quite clear. They are musicking. I'd like to introduce you to a young man named Chris. Chris is a 28-year-old community musician. He makes a living playing and writing songs. He didn't participate in school music beyond the elementary level. So where was he in middle school and high school?
I was in elementary school. I remember a good friend of mine, still a good friend of mine, was real excited because he was going to take drum lessons. And I don't know why, I was even kind of interested in it then, but I didn't for whatever reason, but I'd always ask him about his drum lessons, how's it going? And I remember we were on the school bus, and he had one of those little drum pads and the sticks, and I was like, well, how's the drum lessons going? He's like, oh, well, I could tap jingle bells on my drums. And I was like, what does that even mean? And he was like, and that's, I think, you gotta teach somebody what they want to learn with music. I guess that's hard if you have a room full of people. You can't say to each and every person, well, what do you want to learn to work on just you? But you've got to teach people what they want to learn. And tapping out jingle bells on a drum pad. I mean, even then I was like, well, I'm not taking drum lessons. I mean, I don't want to learn that. I want to learn how to play Rolling Stone songs or whatever. Probably not in elementary school, but whatever, So I remember I wanted to play the saxophone, because, I don't know, that was the one I arbitrarily picked that I wanted to play. And it just didn't happen. I don't know why. I wasn't interested in it for more than 5 minutes. It just didn't appeal to me, the music class thing. I don't know. When you're self-taught, it forces you to be yourself all the time. When you take, it seems like the music class thing, it's confining. I don't know. It's confining. It's boring. Sorry.
Why do you say it's boring?
Because, music theory is very important, but it's not something that you need to understand music theory You need to understand the theory and the things you like first, and then it'll become interesting to you. You know, if I have to talk about music theory in some band, you know, high school band type of song, I don't care. But I mean, if I was in, you know, when I was in junior high or something, somebody said, well, we're going to have a music theory class, but it's going to be all about Led Zeppelin, I'd be, well, sign me up. You know, I would love to do that now. So, and I wish I had, because it would help me so much more. At the stage I'm on now, I could probably write songs quicker and just explain myself to other people so much faster, as opposed to I just kind of feel this way, or it just should be this way because something tells me it should be.
So why didn't Chris participate? If you were able to create any kind of music class for Chris, what would it look like? What would the curriculum consist of? What would your role as teacher be? Would it remain the same way that we teach in band, choir, orchestra, and general music? Or would it need to change? Change is difficult in music education. We're so deeply tied to our traditions, which have made for some of the best band, choir, orchestra, and performance ensembles in the world. But just as those traditions strengthen the ensemble, they also might put on blinders and limit what we think about offering to students. We have a similar vision of success from our past to our present. We often teach as we were taught, and it's difficult to think of other models and other ways of doing things. We have a relatively set picture of school music. We teach in an often controlled and limiting environment. So what can we do for our students? What can we do for Chris? We need to create opportunities that allow students to express their musical interests, desires, and identities. We need to allow for their experimentation. We need to serve as facilitators with expert musical knowledge. And we don't have to be experts in every musical genre. We can step out of the way, let them lead, and we learn along with them. We need to allow for student expression and input. We need to value students' musical choices, knowledge, and preferences. We need to create performance and appreciation lessons that encourage individual musicianship. In short, we need to break free from our personal experiences with music and begin to think more broadly about what music can mean to our students. We need to understand their values and interests. As Paul Lehman says, too often we make the mistake of viewing the task of being music educators as broadening the market for art. Instead, we need to end the segregation between art and life and blur this distinction between work and leisure. The issue is not how to make artistic activities useful, but to make useful activities artistic. Thank you.